Storm hunters, heartache and hope just about to begin here, but I want to talk about weather across the country. There certainly is a lot of snow in the forecast for many Canadians. Just a heads up with this one. And as we look at the system here that's tracking throughout the Great Lakes region, it's bringing in snow. And look at this widespread. See the blues here? That's snowfall warning. Some of these places could see up to 25 centimeters of snow. The winds are also going to be gusting overnight along the Erie shores and then over towards Kingston and the Thousand Islands into early Sunday morning. Now let's talk tornadoes. Here's a look at our storm hunters. Just about to finish off this episode here of Storm Hunters, but let's talk about Sunday weather-wise across the country. This is what you can expect. Temperatures first through the overnight. 2 in Calgary, -6 in Regina. Regina, you're getting a warm up into Sunday. 1 for Toronto with that cold rain in Halifax as well at 10. Not that cold, actually. Slightly above seasonal, but still cool through the overnight. Now, as we look ahead into Sunday afternoon, flurries. Yeah, you can see them here for Toronto and Winnipeg as well. It is likely that the lake-enhanced snow will be an issue throughout the Great Lakes region. Now, here's the end of Storm Hunters. Well, I have to say, the weather nerds here at the Weather Network, we love this kind of stuff. We're in Storm Watch. We're talking snow, snowfall warnings in place. As we look at a place like Barrie, well, 15 centimeters of snow. That's in the forecast here, and that's going to fall by the time we see Sunday morning. So you can see widespread the snowfall warning, special weather statements as well. I also want to mention the winds. Niagara Falls is in a wind warning here. Along the Erie shores, we could see gusts over 100 kilometers an hour overnight. And then over to Kingston and the Thousand Islands, we could also see these gusts into Sunday morning. Now, I want to take you outside. This is the exciting stuff here, out with our storm hunter, Mark Robinson. And Mark, you're in Hanover, and this is where we could see about 15 to 20 centimeters of snow.
Very dangerous on the roads tonight.
Yeah, Mark, you got that right. Thanks so much for your update here. Now, I also want to talk about what's going on in terms of snow widespread throughout Ontario. And these places here are seeing snowfall warnings. Looks like we're frozen there. Didn't mean to have that sour face on. But you know what? We're going to fix these tech issues behind the scenes. Mark Robinson will be joining the show. But right now, here's a look at your local forecast. Yeah, we're talking about the science behind the wind chill. The wind chill, many Canadians are going to be feeling this. Cold Arctic air is going to spread across the country, especially across the prairies. And when we look at the snow, well, snow is certainly going to be an issue in through Ontario. We're seeing the system snow on our cloud tops. You can actually see that system tracking through. And then in behind that, snow squalls. And when we look at snow squalls, well, these bands can be narrow, but they can drop some of the heaviest amounts of snow of the season. And you can see here, highlighted in blue, these are snowfall warnings. Places like Barrie, you could see about 15 centimeters of snow. Now, Mark Robinson, he was out chasing some snow and giving us a better picture of what kind of weather we're experiencing in Ontario. Here he is. All right, Mark, thanks for that. And stay right here. Your locals, they're coming up right now. Snowfall warnings, special weather statements, wind warnings as well. This is the picture in through Ontario. I want to talk about these wind warnings for a second. Along Erie here overnight tonight, gusts over 100 kilometers an hour. And then Kingston, Thousand Islands, this is where we could see gusts over 100 kilometers an hour as well into Sunday morning. Now the snowfall warnings in the blue, widespread here. Mark Robinson is in Hanover, and that's exactly where we are seeing snowfall warnings. And Mark, I want to sort of paint the picture for people, the difference. This here is not snow squalls. This is system snow, an area of low pressure, cold enough to be sustaining these snowflakes. Snow squalls into tomorrow.
Real quick, look at this. It's packing snow inside to you, Rachel.
My first snowball of the season. Thanks for that one. Now you got to go clean your camera now. Okay, let's take a look at the snow here. The snowfall totals. Places like the Dundalk Highlands, this is where we are going to see elevated amounts of snow because you're at a higher elevation. So 25 centimeters of snow for you. Sudbury, you're looking at that. New Liskeard and North Bay, you could see 20 centimeters of it. Now, before we go here, special weather statements in place for Atlantic Canada. Rainfall warning for Halifax, 80 millimeters of rain on the way. Now, stay with us here. Your locals are coming up, and we'll check in with Mark in this snow. That's all ahead. Did you miss winter? Well, it certainly is here. Snowfall warnings are in place widespread throughout Ontario. Thank you so much for tuning into the Weather Network this evening. I'm Rachel Schoutsen. We have Mark Robinson on the outside as well, but I want to focus in on some of this snow here as we get a closer look into the GTA. Toronto, you're escaping this one, our little GTA bubble. You're not going to be seeing accumulating snow with this. You could see a few flurries, but as we look over to places like the Dundalk Highlands, we could be seeing over 20 centimeters of snow. And Mark Robinson in Hanover. Mark, I have to ask, are you excited? Do you like this stuff? Being on air talking about weather, I love these kind of things. I love snow. All right, Mark, thank you so much for that. Leadership works, leadership works as well. If you want to hear in your backyard, just like Mark did. Okay, I want to take you off into the Atlantic now. Halifax is in a rainfall warning, 80 millimeters of rain. That's as we look ahead into Sunday through till Monday. We also have special weather statements in place. The winds are going to be very strong as this front sort of stalls out. Look at all this rain, subtropical moisture up into Nova Scotia, and in behind this, cold air moves through. So Moncton, St. John, Fredericton, as this rain passes in through Monday, it's going to be switching over into snow for you. Now, speaking of snow, this front is headed throughout Manitoba as we look ahead into Sunday. That's going to be bringing some snow. We're talking light amounts of snow for Winnipeg. Once you get further north into the Interlake region, that's where we will see some higher amounts. And snow, wow, look at this. As we look ahead into this week, cold Arctic air. Special weather statements are in place for the chilly cool down. Significant snow. Yeah, that's the story here throughout Ontario and the reason why we are in storm watch. We're also tracking very heavy rain that's moving in through Atlantic Canada. Halifax, you are the target. And Arctic air. Yeah, Arctic air filtering across BC, Alberta, and the prairies as we look ahead into next week. Thank you for watching the Weather Network. I'm Rachel Schoutsen, and I want to start off with our story here in through Ontario. See this blue? These are snowfall warnings. Places like Barrie, you're in a snowfall warning. And by the time we see Sunday morning, 15 centimeters of snow could be on your front lawn. Yeah, that's the reality here. So if you've been waiting for winter, it's finally arriving in through Ontario. But the snowfall amounts, they can be dangerous, that's for sure. We're talking about 20 centimeters of snow up into North Bay, about 15 into Sudbury. The Dundalk Highlands at a higher elevation here. This is where we could also see about 20 centimeters of snow. So driving through these conditions, it's not going to be fun. It might look a little like this. This is what Stratford was looking like with the blowing snow. Okay, yeah, that certainly is what you're going to have to get used to. Now, as we look at some of the snowfall accumulations, this system is going to move off into Quebec. So the system snow, that's going to be done for Ontario tomorrow afternoon, but then snow squalls are going to set up. Now, the story out through Atlantic Canada, Halifax in a rainfall warning. We're going to see very gusty conditions as well. And as we look here across the prairies, this front travels through Manitoba. That's going to be bringing in some snow. And as we look ahead into next week, we're going to see a rapid cool down in through the BC coast and the interior. This low is going to intensify, and that's going to bring snow across the prairies. It certainly is feeling like winter as we look ahead into next week across the prairie provinces. Sunday here, Calgary at 5, Regina at 5. Enjoy this because coming up, you're going to be looking at daytime highs of around -12. Yeah, that's going to be the story as we move through this next week. Winnipeg at 1 with some flurries. Toronto, some mixing. As we talk about this snow, Toronto is sort of in their little protected bubble. Yeah, you're not going to be seeing accumulating snow. Now, for more on your forecast, here's your locals. Here we go, storm watch on the Weather Network. Snowfall warnings widespread right now throughout Ontario. Places like Hanover in a snowfall warning, and that's exactly where Mark Robinson is. And Mark, it took about 3 hours to get up to Hanover, and I want to know, did you see any dangerous driving conditions? Because the snow behind you there, well, it's certainly snowing. We could see 15 to 20 centimeters in Hanover. Yeah, you got that. As we see the westerly winds over these relatively warmer bodies of water, the Great Lakes, that's going to fire up the snow squall machine here. So right now it's system snow. And if you are in that cold sector of the low that Mark was talking about, this is all snow for you. Now, the city of Toronto could be seeing a few flurries into Sunday morning, but this isn't going to be shovel snow down through the GTA. No, but certainly shovel snow up towards places like Sudbury and North Bay. Now, I want to take you into the Atlantic because rainfall warnings are in place. Warm day is coming into play. Yeah, that's what we are looking at for Atlantic Canada, but places like Halifax, about 80 millimeters of rain in your forecast. As we look at this subtropical moisture surging from the south, we're talking very heavy rainfall. Now, stay with us here. Your locals start now, and we'll have more coming up. Yeah, we're talking about the science behind the wind chill. The wind chill, many Canadians are going to be feeling this. Cold Arctic air is going to spread across the country, especially across the prairies. And when we look at the snow, well, snow is certainly going to be an issue in through Ontario. We're seeing the system snow on our cloud tops. You can actually see that system tracking through. And then in behind that, snow squalls. And when we look at snow squalls, well, these bands can be narrow, but they can drop some of the heaviest amounts of snow of the season. And you can see here, highlighted in blue, these are snowfall warnings. Places like Barrie, you could see about 15 centimeters of snow. Now, Mark Robinson, he was out chasing some snow and giving us a better picture of what kind of weather we're experiencing in Ontario. Here he is. All right, Mark, thanks for that. And stay right here. Your locals, they're coming up right now. Yeah, Michelle, you got that right. As we look at the snow here through Ontario, this is certainly going to be a story. I want to start off here. We do have a front moving throughout Manitoba, and that's going to be bringing in some snow through this region here. Winnipeg, we're not going to be seeing huge amounts of snow for you, but it's going to be enough to talk about. And we also have this, an intensifying low Monday throughout BC southern interior, and that's going to track across the prairies. Special weather statements are in place for the cold air that's coming into play for places like Vancouver. Now, as we take you out to the Atlantic here, the snow is going to start to move into the picture, and the rain as well. Very heavy rainfall for places like Halifax. You could see about 80 millimeters of rain, and in behind that, well, that's when the snow is going to push through Moncton. Fredericton, you'll be seeing snow in behind this front. Now, Ontario is certainly seeing snow right now. As we look at Toronto, no, you're not going to be seeing shovel-worthy snow. You could see a few flurries, let's say, but a cold rain tonight, flurries likely into Sunday morning. But by the time we see Sunday morning, places like Barrie, you could be seeing 15 centimeters of snow. That's exactly where snowfall warnings are in place. The Dundalk Highlands as well. This is where we could see over 20 centimeters. Now let me show you this. This is Durham, Ontario. Focus on here on some of the watches and warnings. We do have snowfall warnings in place, and these are widespread right now throughout Ontario. North Bay, you could see over 20 centimeters of snow with this. This is system snow that's tracking through this evening, and then snow squalls. That's going to be the setup with westerly winds over the Great Lakes. Now here's a more detailed look at your weather. Here's your local forecast.